Hello, my young scientists. Today we are going to dive into the fascinating world of density and how it relates to different substances and fluids. Density is a key concept in science that helps us understand how tightly packed the particles of a substance are. Imagine you have two containers, one filled with water and the other with oil. Which one do you think is denser? Let's find out. When we compare the density of substances relative to various fluids, we can see that water is denser than oil. This is because water molecules are more tightly packed together compared to oil molecules. Now let's explore another example. Have you ever noticed how some objects float in water while others sink? This is because of their density. Objects that are less dense than water will float, while objects that are more dense will sink. This is why a wooden boat can float on water, but a metal coin will sink. Density is often measured in grams per cubic centimeter or kilograms per liter. By comparing the densities of different substances, we can determine which one is denser or less dense. For example, if we compare the density of water, which is 1 gram per cubic centimeter, to the density of oil, which is 0.9 grams per cubic centimeter, we can see that water is denser than oil. Now let's take a closer look at how density can vary depending on the temperature of a substance. As a substance is heated, its particles move faster and spread out, causing the substance to expand and become less dense. On the other hand, when a substance is cooled, its particles slow down and move closer together, making the substance more dense. This is why ice floats on water, as the solid form of water is less dense than its liquid form. Another important concept to consider when comparing the density of substances relative to various fluids is buoyancy. Buoyancy is the ability of an object to float in a fluid, and it is determined by the relationship between the density of the object and the density of the fluid. If the object is less dense than the fluid, it will float. If the object is more dense, it will sink. Now let's conduct a simple experiment to demonstrate the concept of density. We will need a glass of water, a glass of oil, and a few small objects such as a coin, a cork, and a metal paperclip. First, we will drop each object into the water and observe whether it sinks or floats. Then, we will repeat the same process with the oil. By comparing the results, we can determine the relative densities of the objects and the fluids. In conclusion, density is a fundamental concept in science that helps us understand the relationship between the mass and volume of a substance. By comparing the density of substances relative to various fluids, we can explore how different materials interact with each other, and why some objects float while others sink. I hope you enjoyed learning about density today, and remember to keep exploring the wonders of science. Stay curious, my young scientists. If you have any questions or would like to share your own experiments with density, feel free to do so in the comments below. Keep experimenting and discovering the amazing world of science. Thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to our next scientific adventure together. Happy exploring!